Hey, I'm looking forward to tonight's live stream where we'll be able to talk directly about the issues that are going on. Hope to see you tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Talk then. So Fox News is all hot and bothered because Hillary Clinton compared a Trump rally to a Hitler rally. Let's talk about it in today's video. Hi, I'm Mike Greiner. I'm a lifelong Democratic activist who's concerned about the direction our country is taking. I'm also a lawyer and an academic, and I'm here to help you stand up to the BS of the MAGA crowd. So Hillary Clinton, remember her of the deplorables comment and who warned us about all the things about Donald Trump? Well, she's back, and Fox News isn't having any of it. In a recent interview, she talked about how a recent Trump rally reminded her of the images of the Nazi rally she saw as a child. Let's check it out over here.
I remember as a young student, trying to figure out how did people get basically drawn in by Hitler. You saw the rally in Ohio.
Before we get started here, I want to just share a story. I actually had a very similar experience when I was a child, not just asking about Nazis, but on a totally separate note here. My mother is very religious and insists on teaching us about the Bible and everything. Very progressive, but very religious nonetheless. I remember hearing the story about Jesus coming into Jerusalem and them putting down the palm leaves and everybody being all excited to see him. And then just days later, he's being killed on the cross. So I kind of drew the analogy there between that, and then you have how Nazis with this hateful philosophy are able to attract people, and none of it just made sense to me. And truth be told, I never really understood it until when I was working as the deputy mayor here in Warren, Michigan, Michigan's third largest city. We had somebody on the city council who was a genuine demagogue, really someone who operated from the same playbook as Donald Trump. And I remember thinking to myself, now I understand how demagogues can get people all riled up and get them to pay attention to a hateful philosophy and in many respects vote against their own self-interests. So I've got to tell you, it's really disappointed me to watch so much of what I witnessed here in this small corner of Michigan happening across the country thanks to Donald Trump and the MAGA philosophy. Let's keep watching what Hillary has to say.
The other night, Trump is there ranting and raving for more than an hour, and you have these rows of young men with their arms raised.
Wow. Hillary Clinton once again taking aim at former President Trump and his supporters, this time comparing his Ohio rally to a Nazi rally.
Yeah, her alarm.
It sure looks like one, doesn't it? I mean, I gotta tell you, I've been to a lot of Democratic Party rallies, and I've never seen a scene like that. Let's keep watching.
Alarming rhetoric comes just days after an 18-year-old was murdered. The suspect alleging the teen was a so-called Republican extremist. Ohio Congressman Bill Johnson.
Okay, now this is another big story on Fox News. When you pay attention to Fox News, you kind of see that there's this alternate ecosystem that they're operating in. And one of the big stories that they're talking about on Fox News is this tragic story, apparently, of this young man who was a right-wing supporter of Donald Trump's, who apparently was purposely killed by someone who considers themselves a progressive. According to Fox News, the real outrage here is how little coverage this is getting, and just think how much coverage there would be if this were someone on the left who is killed. Well, I actually looked that up here, and here are some of the things that Fox News does not cover. For example, it does not cover the fact that 30 black men are killed in gun violence every day. They do not cover the fact that every other day a black man is shot by a police officer. And by the way, I'm going to link to all the proof of the arguments I'm making down there. They do not cover the fact that over the last 25 years, 329 people have been killed by right-wing extremist groups. And yet, how many people did Antifa killed? That would be 0. Again, I'm going to link to all the support for my arguments down here. So the question should be, why is Fox News paying so much attention to this young man when there are so many others who they haven't paid attention to? Well, what it has to do with is the fact that according to them, white, straight men who are right-wing MAGA conservatives are worth more than anybody else. Let's keep watching.
Joins us now. Congressman, good morning to you. It's becoming very clear that Democrats are trying to make the midterm elections about so-called Republican extremism with that.
You know, I love how they're saying that the Democrats are trying to make this election about Republican extremism. We don't need to do anything to make it, that they're doing it. We're not the ones who invaded the Capitol on January 6th and tried to overthrow the government. That's pretty extreme to me. They're the ones defending that. Let's keep watching.
Comment from Hillary Clinton comparing the Trump rally to a Nazi rally. What do you make?
I love how they do that. Look how dramatic they are. To a Nazi rally. Keep watching.
For comment, and do you think that strategy is going to work?
No, I don't think it's going to work at all, but who could be surprised? I mean, she's referred to conservative Republicans as deplorables. The president himself has called us semi-fascist, called conservatives enemies of the state.
Now, wait a minute. That was Trump who did that, not Joe Biden. Let's keep watching.
If we disagree with him, I mean, they've reverted to name calling because they have absolutely no agenda to run on.
You know, this is really something watching this, because I do so often feel like I'm looking into some kind of alternate reality. We hear all the names that they're calling Democrats, and yet the Democrats are the ones engaging in name calling. We see their commitments to America being completely vacuous with nothing in terms of substance, and yet we're the ones with nothing to run on after the House has passed dozens of pieces of legislation that only went to die in the Senate. They really are living in their own world in Fox News. Let's keep watching.
And everything they've done since Joe Biden has come into office has turned the country upside down. So,
really? Such fast job growth has turned the country upside down, a declining price of gas, a strengthening our alliances as he's provided leadership in Ukraine. That's turned things upside down. How about the new infrastructure bill or bipartisan gun legislation? I mean, I'll be the first to say none of these things are perfect, but it's a lot more than the prior administration could say. Let's keep watching.
What a surprise that Hillary Clinton would do something like this.
It's chilling language and the hypocrisy when you have an 18-year-old kid killed.
No, the hypocrisy are all the other people who Fox News is not covering, just selecting this one, acting as if he's the only young man who's killed in America. Let's keep watching.
Allegedly because they accused him of being a Republican extremist, yet the media ignores that completely. It's sad that the hypocrisy that we have to deal with on a day-in and day-out basis. Meantime, Congressman, I want to get your thoughts on this. Democrat Congressman and Ohio Senate candidate Tim Ryan joined by teacher union head Randy Weingarten and musician Paul Simon while campaigning this weekend. Putting aside the celeb Paul Simon for a moment, because let's face it, celebs always seem to go for the Democrat. If you want to know what kind of policies, especially when it comes to your kids, that Tim Ryan will push for, doesn't campaigning with left-wing woke activist Randy...
Wait, left-wing woke activist? Isn't that name-calling? I thought it was the Democrats who did that. Let's keep watching.
Randy Weingarten really give you the answer you need?
No, it's not. I can tell you, it's going to backfire. People in Ohio, particularly parents, they're more concerned about getting their kids back in school. They're more
Now, this is where I think the Republicans are missing the boat. The kids are in school. There are no restrictions on their ability to go to school anymore as a result of the COVID pandemic. And what's more is Ohio has a Republican governor and a Republican legislature who put in the restrictions in the first place. Let's keep watching.
Concerned about the social development of their kids. They know that living under these liberal the mandates for masking, the teachers that wanted to get paid but wanted to stay home to work. No.
Actually, I heard about all these investment bankers who wanted to stay home to work. Let's keep watching.
This is going to backfire on them. J.D. Vance is going to win this election because he believes, as we do, that we need a country that is safe. We need a government that's accountable. We need an economy that is strong. Those are the things that Republicans are campaigning on, and those are the things that Ohioans believe as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so J.D. Vance may well win that election, which would really be a tragedy considering what an empty suit he's turned out to be, shifting from being a huge critic of Donald Trump to being one of the most pathetic bootlickers in the Republican Party, which is really saying something. But the reason that he'll win is not because Republicans have some more potent message and J.D. Vance is a good person to deliver that message. They'll win because of the fact that Ohio's Republican. Donald Trump won Ohio in the last 2 elections by about 8 points. That is a significant victory. Ohio is not a swing state. And actually, what's more amazing is the fact that Tim Ryan is as close as he is in that race. It just shows the fact that the Republicans are weak, in particular, J.D. Vance is weak. So to act as if, we have a poll that shows J.D. Vance up by 1 point, that's not a victory for the Republicans. That's bad news for them. Well, if you want to see just how extreme the Republican Party has become, check out this video I did over here a little while ago where I described the plight of a young woman charged with murder after she obtained an abortion. And as it turns out, we hear that the GOP candidate for governor in Michigan and in Pennsylvania says they support that type of policy. So this is not some fringe extreme policy among Republicans. I'll see you then. In the meantime, let's hope for continued progress. Thank you.